You know, when I was a kid, they used to have this thing called a hobby. Now, people who are listening to this are probably saying this guy's being sarcastic. And I'm being maybe a little facetious, but not really. I mean, I know I'm going to date myself here, but when I was in grade school in the 70s, we used to have this. Do you remember this? What I think it was called Scholastic News. And and they would show you in the Scholastic. I think it was Scholastic News, or it could have been something that came with the. It was once a month, and all right, we got copper, right? That's copper. That looks like copper. Let's see. Yeah, we got copper in here. All right, so we got a real deal penny roll. I'm always worried about hunted through penny rolls. And one of the things that was very popular in the Scholastic News was they sold books, and a lot of those books were hobby related. And you know, I wasn't a very popular kid. Wah, wah. So and I wasn't very academically inclined either. You know, Crimea River. But I did like books that were hobby books for whatever reason. I think it's because every once in a while I got a quarter here and there, and I picked up a pack of cards. Um, the stamp books. I remember. I think I ordered this. Oh, we got 17p. That's nice. I ordered one of the stamp books. Obviously, my parents bought it for me. It wasn't every month either. I had to ask for it, and um, has a die spike there on the corner. Nice looking penny. Mhm. It's got a dice spike. Not it's that one's not to me. That one's not valuable. Um, there are some dice spikes that do have value, and usually they're strong. A strong dice spike has value. This one has shapes at the top here. Could be a weak strike through. So the stamp books, I think they used to send stamps with it. So you got some stamps and the what are they called? Oh my god, those wax envelopes. Starts with an S. Not say line, stay line. Anyway. And so you got to screw around with them, and it came with the little the ears that you glued them down to the. Let me look it down a little bit. Could be a string strike through. I mean, look how it doesn't go through the building. You noticed that or no? Did you pick up on that? Maybe that maybe it does go through the building right there on the tip. Let me look at it through the loop. Hmm. Hard to tell. And then the same thing with the letter. I think it's a string strike through. Okay, it goes through straight through the peony plurius. Is it a scratch? I see a slight line in the end. It's hard to tell. It really is hard to tell. There are a couple other scratches that look similar on the reverse, so it could be a scratch. Could be a it could be a string through. It's our first copper penny. And then baseball cards again. Pack of cards was 25 cents. And my neighbors um, were really into baseball. Remember, they used to tell me that their father, who was much older than my father was in his 20s. He got back from Vietnam. Their father was, I think he was in his 50s when they were just little kids. Started life a little later, and but he would take them to baseball games and stuff like that. And they told me that he saw like Mickey Mantle hit like his most famous home run and all that stuff. So he was big into baseball. So they kind of got me into baseball a little bit, and they knew everybody who played and all that stuff. So, and then my father took me to the coin shop about 2 or 3 times um, when he used to work in the World Trade. No extra V. Um, I think I used to meet him out there. I was just a little kid, but I don't know. I remember taking the I would take the train, like 8, 9 years old. I would jump on a train and meet my father out in Manhattan. Anyway. That was normal as a die clash. The 82s. How about on the front? I missed one on the front last time. Yeah, it's on the front here too. Very slightly. You can see the little lines there. But on the back is where it's stronger. That's a nice die clash. That little thing messed it up though. Otherwise, the coin's in nice condition. This is a zinc 82. So we got some nice coins already out of here. So I was into hobbies. You know what I mean? Um I was home a lot. Well, I mean I was in the street a lot too. So anyway, we didn't do much family stuff. Let's just put it like that. So I was into hobbies. And people collected kids collected baseball cards. Today I don't think kids collect I don't think kids collect anything anymore, to be honest. Not that I mean kids. When I mean kids, I mean 5, 6, 7 years old. Little kids. It's a nice 24. It's a beauty. As far as I know, I haven't heard anything like that um, from anybody with kids or anything like that. Older kids in their teens might collect. Pokemon cards, but they don't even collect Pokemon cards. Even young kids who get Pokemon cards, it's by value, right? Well, I guess in a sense it's similar to baseball cards when I was a kid because you were looking for whoever was popular, Yankees, Phillies, and you're hoping to find those cards. Uh, and I collected Army men. I used to like to play with army men too. But today, I really don't know of many people who have. I mean, if you go on YouTube, obviously you find tons and tons of people doing everything, you know. Um, but even that, it's really not as a hobby, right? So I'm into stamps, I'm into marbles, and people collect them for value. You know, they expect them. It's a nice copper. They're collecting them because they're hoping they go up in value. Like, people are so economically conscious now. I guess that's where I'm going with all this, in a very long-winded kind of way. As a die clash, I don't like the condition of this coin, and the die clash is too weak. So to me, coin roll hunting, especially no close AM, especially pennies. They're so cheap, you know, that, and they're still being made, and you can still get them in the bank. That this is like, to me, I mean, you could say stamps, but stamps are super complicated, man. I'm into stamps. I've done some videos on stamps. I have what's that called? A playlist. You can look through my playlist, and I have some. I did some pretty popular videos on stamps. It's a super duper complicated, and the stamps that are worth money are pretty old. Yeah, the chance of you getting a valuable stamp, like, you can go on eBay and buy like a bag of 10,000 stamps for. Yeah, watch. I'll look. I bet you. I'm gonna say you can get a bag of thousands and thousands of stamps for about $30. I'll look real quick and I'll show you. All I did was type in thousands of stamps, boxes and boxes of stamps, books. I mean, that's $300, but that's, when I tell you, that would take someone a lifetime to go through and to learn about. I'm serious. If you got $300 and you buy one, two, three, four, five, there's got to be 20,000 stamps in these books. It would take you a lifetime to go through. I mean, you might be able to flip through the pages in a couple of hours, but to look at each stamp individually and to determine so many millions of things to determine would take you a lifetime. Look at this. $30, $40, $20, bulk. This one here has the old. I think those are older stamps. I mean, man, look at this. How much is that? $18. Maybe it'll go for 50 or something like that. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. I got shelves of stamp books when I was buying them uh, to collect and to go through as a hobby. But the chance of any of those stamps being worth have anything of value is super super rare, and it's just like I said, as a hobby. Oh, it's great. Spend $100 and you'll keep yourself busy for the rest of your life. Look at that mark up here by the D. I have to check that out real quick. Oh no, I guess it's damage. You see how I see it in other places now. Yeah, because it's damage. You're always hoping for like a second strike or something like that. Some sort of exotic error. You have to have books and books and books of to know the different types of stamps and the values. It um, like for example, the old U.S. stamps from like the early 1900s, 1910, 20, 30s, like that. Each stamp, many of the stamps, they have 10, 20 varieties of the same stamp, man. And the only way you can know the difference is by having a special tool that measures the I forgot what it's called, the little dots on the side, and you have to put the forget about it, man. You could spend on one stamp 2 or 3 hours to determine, and the colors, forget it, man. Even people who are avid stamp collectors have a difficult time telling the difference between the valuable stamp that's like worth $200 or $300 and the typical one that's worth 5 cents or a penny or less than a penny. You get 100 for whatever it is. Um, so like if you really have like busy work and stuff like that, then it's stamps are great, man. But most people are not interested in spending that much time and energy into something that's really that difficult to learn with such a minimal payout. Now, pennies and about, I mean, I put a lot of time into pennies. I'm not going to say I haven't. And I have to tell you, the first year of doing this, when I look back on it, and I really, really didn't know what I was talking about, to be honest with you. And my members, thankfully, some good subscribers, really steered me in the correct direction. And then between that and the use of um, online resources, which I have a lot of them linked below in the description. If you go through those resources, they'll be very helpful for you. The line looks interesting. Let me look at it under the loop. It goes right to the number and stops. It goes right around the nose, but not through the nose. Oh man. All right, hold on a second. Let me not go get crazy here. And the coloring is very similar to the coloring around it, meaning I don't see a fresh. Usually on scratches, on the inside of the scratch, you'll see like the color looks a little different because it's fresher than when the coin was made. And I don't want to sound like a big. Oh, look around the lips too. Let me look on the reverse. Is there a die clash on this too? No. There is a little bit of a grease strike. Oh, there might be a slight die clash. Right in the same. So if you look at this, check this out. The line curves around the nose. It does not go through the R or past the R, and it does not go through the 9 or past the 9. But what really made me think that this is a strike through is how it curves around the nose. I think that's a strike through. That's so cool how it curves around the nose like that. Let me take a picture of this. Okay. I think that's a strike through. Now, for example, that's a good example. That one right there that I said I think it's a strike through. Like I know how to look at it and kind of analyze it, but I don't know enough to say definitively it's a strike through. Like someone who's been doing this longer than I have could probably look at that and say, "Oh, that's not a strike through because of this." I can't do that yet. I haven't seen enough strike throughs. I've done enough research independently, but I know it could be a strike through, right? And then I'm able to intellectually say why that's the case. I know a lot of the typical errors, like the 1992. I know it comes in a close AM. That's a wide AM. So I know how to look for a lot of the common valuable coins, right? Just like when I was a kid and I used to collect baseball cards, I was looking for the Reggie Jackson. I was looking for the Pete Rose, the Mike Schmidt. Um, who else? Um, Hank Aaron, was he still playing? Yeah, he was still playing in the 70s. I was looking for Hank Aaron. No Willie Mays. Anyway, you get my point. There were a lot of people who were very popular, and I knew how, from every day, whatever, looking, playing with cards or talking, playing, talking about cards and watching a baseball game here and there. So this is kind of like that in a sense. It's not it's not it's not the most difficult thing in the world to learn about. So, to wrap up the thought of the day and what I was talking about in this video, in many ways, penny roll hunting is like, to me, the last true real hobby, right? Like it doesn't cost much. I mean, it's so cheap. It doesn't cost much. You could learn about, and you could really find things that are valuable. You find that close AM 1992, you found $100. You find that two of the wide AMs are worth about $10, and there's one, I forget if it's the 98 or the 99. It's worth about $50. So there's that. There's the double ears. There's of course wheat cents. Wheat cents are worth about 20 cents to $1 a piece, depending on condition. There's certain key date. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, man. That's really not that difficult to learn. Die clashes, they're easy to spot. Die chips. There's just so many different types of errors that are just easy to spot, and different types of viable pennies that are easy to learn about. I don't know any other hobby that's that is this cheap, this enjoyable, and this is practical. That's the word I've been searching for the past 25 minutes. Penny roll hunting is like the last practical hobby, man. That, and I've done it all. I've done it all. Um, I've had very expensive coins. Oh man, forget about it. I could do a whole video or talk forever about some of the. I remember I bought, first of all, silver went up a bunch, right? How much is silver today? Let me click the silver. Did it go up any? No, okay. So silver's holding at $36.62. Gold is up a bit. So I bought these. Very quick story. And I talked about this, and I have it. If you go to my playlist, there's one about, I think, other coins or something like that, or silver or something like that. And so right now, the 90% silver Kennedy $half. I think that's it, right? I'll tell you how much they cost right now. Right, because silver's up a bit. They might, by the time this video is shown, I'm gonna put 90%. I think that's the 64, 1964 Kennedy have, and this is sold. Okay, this is sold. If I remember correct, they're like, wow. Okay, so they're selling for like $10 plus ship. I'm gonna click free shipping so we know the exact price. Free shipping. Now I'm gonna click buy it now. Choose 18 bucks, 15 bucks. All right, let's say 15 bucks. Okay. They're selling for 15 bucks a piece. This one says 18. They're selling, right? They're selling 20 bucks. They're selling 15 bucks, 15 bucks, 16, 17 bucks, 25 bucks. You know how much they were about 3 years ago? $1.50 if you bought them in bulk. The 64s. They were $1, right? Were they $1.50, or am I thinking about the 40%? No, it's the 90%. I have, you know what? I'm gonna check my video. All right, I'm an idiot. It was the 40%, but not really, and I'll show you why. Okay, so if you're interested in the video, if you there's a search bar, right? On my channel, there's a search bar. And all I typed in was Kennedy, and this came up. And I've done this in the past with 100 of them, and you don't really find much. Really, all you're doing is really. I found this wicked. I found some wicked. Some excellent condition coins. So look at all these bags of Kennedy $half I have. They're 40% though. They're not this. They're not 90. But we found one banger. And I found more than one. I think I found 3 or 4. I went through them again. Look at the double die on this. I'm gonna show you what this is worth in a second. But you can see that the beautiful, beautiful doubling on the wing there. And watch, I'm gonna go to eBay. First, I'm gonna show you what. So let's go to eBay. So this is what they're selling for the 40%. Right. So obviously less than half of what the 90% selling for. Free delivery. That's a proof. So they're selling for about $7 to $10. So let's just say $7. Okay, let's say $7 a piece. 3 years ago, they were selling for $1.50. Right, those I bought there. I got 100. I paid about $150 for 100 of. At 3 bags, I bought 300 of them at about $150 a bag in auction. I remember all 3 bags came out to like $500 after shipping or something like that. Today they're $7 a piece. You're talking about in 3, maybe it's 4 years. Okay, it could be 4 years. It's 3 or 4 years. In 4, let's say 4 years. In 4 years, they went up 4 times $1.50 is $6. Let's just say they went up 4x. That's not doubling every year, but it's doubling from the original price every year, right? So an extra 100%, because if you doubled it, that's a different type of ratio, right? So if you doubled $1 to $2, then it doubled. It went from 2 to 4, then doubled again. It goes, and then of course it's exponential. It wasn't exponential; it just doubled from its. It went 4x in 4 years. Imagine buying a house for $250,000, and then 4 years later selling it for $1 million. I mean, without doing anything, I'm saying, you know, that's unthinkable, right? Real estate goes up typically. I mean, lately it's been a lot more for the past 5, 10 years because of inflation. But real estate was considered 5, 6% a year, and in 20 years it might have doubled. When your kids or you're wanting a house, it might have been double from what you paid for it 20 years ago at 5% per year, right? Okay. So, and let's look at what that Kennedy half dollar. Let's put DDR, because that's what it is. It's a DDR. Let's see what they sell for. There's not too many of them. Let's go highest first because it's a nice one, and they're in nice condition too. $500. Let's look at this. 185. Buy it now. $185 DDR. And where is it at? Oh, mine's way nicer than this. Oh, okay. I think it's there in the wing. $185 this sold for. Mine is. So where am I going with all this? even this, you can't do it anymore, right? I mean, buying 100 Kenny half dollars at $1.50 a piece. I mean, right now that's unthinkable, right? That's unthinkable. And so, but 4 years ago, it was that was only 4 years ago, man. For $150, $200, you were buying 100 silver Kennedy half dollars. I mean, yeah, that's doable. Maybe you find a couple errors in it, whatever. But today, to buy 100 of them, it's going to cost you probably $700. It's a huge difference. Again, going back to the whole thing with the pennies, it's just such an affordable hobby, and like I said, as far as I know, it's like the last practical hobby. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. I like talking about things that are, that's what I was thinking about this morning when I said, oh, how cool is this that I get to do this every day, basically for free. That string strike through, that's a $10 penny if it's a string strike through. That 82 with the die clash, that's a $2-3 penny. So they're out there, and they're easy to find. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.